Good morning, everyone. My name is Joanne Gravel, and I'm a business strategist with BusinessLink. Thank you all for joining us for our webinar today. We want to acknowledge that in the province of Alberta, we are situated on the traditional territories of Treaties 4, 6, 7, 8, and 10, ancestral homeland of diverse First Nations groups, Métis, and Indigenous people whose ancestors have walked this land since time immemorial and whose histories, languages, and cultures continue to influence our vibrant community. We pay respects to the Indigenous people of this land, past, present, and future, while recognizing their cultural heritage, beliefs, and relationship to the land on which we reside. So with that, thank you again for joining us for our webinar. Today, Juliette Cruz, a senior account manager with the Business Development Bank of Canada, is with us to present on how to build a successful growth strategy for your business. So if you'd like to ask a question anytime throughout the webinar, do not hesitate to do so by simply clicking on the Q&A found in the meeting controls and type your message into the question box. As there may be questions asked throughout the presentation, we ask all of you to participate, and we will be addressing them periodically throughout the session. We'd also like to bring to your attention that the information provided today in the session is for general knowledge and therefore should not be taken as professional advice. So it's my pleasure to welcome our presenter today. Welcome, Juliette. We look forward to learning more about building a successful growth strategy. So go ahead and take it away.
Thanks, Joanne. Before I start, I was wondering if you could go on the chat and just put in if you are a business owner right now, if you are basically thinking about having a business or a startup or things like that, just for me to get an idea on how many people or in the presentation today have businesses. And maybe Joanne, you can just like read them, because I'm not looking at the chat right now.
Sure, sounds good, Juliette. So we have Susan Braden, and she's from Rock Paper Estrogen. And then we have there's 1, 2, 3. One's rebooting a startup that they launched 10 years ago. Looks like there's many business owners right now. Right. I'm at maybe about 20, 15 to 20 that I can see.
Yeah. So welcome, business owners. We're going to be talking about how to grow your business for those of you who already have a business, and provide some insights to those who are wanting to start a new business. So again, my name is Juliette Cruz. I'm a senior account manager at the Business Development Bank of Canada. I work out of the Calgary Quarry Park office, and I look after the southwest area outside of Calgary. So I'm basically looking after the rural southwest. So for those of you who don't know BDC, I just wanted to maybe provide some introduction. So you probably have seen our advertising. We are the only bank exclusively dedicated to entrepreneurs. So we don't do a lot of the things that chartered banks do. We don't take deposits, no investments. We don't do residential mortgages, car loans, anything like that. But anything to do with your business, your commercial loans, if you need money for equipment, buy real estate, commercial real estate, we do all that for you. Technology, financing, working capital, and anything to grow your business. So right now we have about 49,000 entrepreneurs that we are serving, and we do lend, invest, and advise these businesses. We want them to be more productive, and we would like them to be more agile, more profitable, and be more competitive. So today, we're going to explain to you why some firms take off while others don't. And we're going to give you the essential ingredients for you to grow your business.
Juliet, may I just ask a question real quickly?
Yes.
There's
Yeah,
already a question coming in. The question is, do you do small loans, like around $5,000?
we do. $5,000, and we have like different platforms as well. So if you are an existing business for the last 2 years and you have posted some profitability, and you only need 100,000 or less, we have a really good portal for online financing, and it's a quicker way to get your money. But yeah, we can provide 5,000 up to 10 million in the branch. So it's a whole range of loan amounts that we do. Okay. So why do we say that growing your business is important? There is an interesting statistic that I would like to share. Only 1 out of 1,000 businesses would reach the 100 employee threshold. So in Canada, so it's a small percentage that goes into that growth mode. But there are many benefits to growing a business. So it allows the owners to be more financially comfortable. It helps to retain and motivate the employees, who are more stimulated to work for a business that is developing. And it also makes it possible to operate on a better financial footing. So therefore, increasing your business chances of survival. So let's take an example. Couche-Tard. You probably are familiar with this logo. You would see this on, the Max stores, convenience stores, and this company started about 41 years ago, and it came out of Quebec, and right now they have grown to over 45,000, not 45, the company has grown to 15,000 stores in Canada, internationally as well, in the US, Mexico, Ireland, Norway, Sweden, Denmark. So it's hard to imagine sometimes that, a company that started 40 years ago could grow into this big company down the road. So,
Excuse me, Juliet.
yes.
Have you been advancing the screens? It seems that the screen is not advancing if you are.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Okay.
So we are on this slide. Thank you for pointing that out.
Super, thank you.
Okay. Okay. So the entrepreneurial success does not happen overnight. So it's like when you're growing a business, it's very much like building a home. So you start making the plans, then you build the foundation, and then you finish with the external and interior finishing. So today we're going to go through each of the key stages for a successful growth strategy. And during each step, we will try to give you some advice as well as suggestions on key indicators that you should monitor. At this stage, I have a question for you in the room. What do you think are the common traits among entrepreneurs who succeed in growing their business? What do you think are their, their traits? So maybe Joanne, you can read some of the answers there.
Yes. So one says desperation, adaptability, consistency, risk-taking, boldness, perseverance, seize opportunity.
Yeah.
Marketing, being sick of working on bad projects.
Okay, so yeah, those are some qualities of the good entrepreneurs. So basically, here are the common traits that we find among entrepreneurs. They want to grow. They have a good game of plan, a good action plan, and they have the right teams to support them. So we're going to talk about these ingredients. First and foremost, you must want to grow. Over the years, I have met two types of entrepreneurs. those who want to grow. And I have an example where at the outset, I meet an entrepreneur, and they wanted to put on a restaurant. They used to work in a bar, and they basically said, we don't want to be open until like 1 a.m. and serve liquor and stuff like that. So, when we're going into our business, we're going to build a breakfast place. And at the outset, they said, this is our plan. We're going to like grow in 3 stores in Calgary for the next, say, 3 years. And then we're going to do a takeout place and all that stuff. So at the outset, they have basically identified that they want to grow. And then there are those who want to reach a good level of revenue and profit. And they would say, once I hit $1 million, I'd like to stay there. And that's okay as well. Some business owners, they have like different preferences. So going back to the story of Couche-Tard, for example, there were 2 brothers who created the company, and if not because of their willingness to grow, they would have stayed put as a corner street convenience store. And there is nothing wrong with that if you want to be just one store. But in this case, they wanted to be to grow to a bigger and more stores and everywhere else, not just in Canada, but outside as well, internationally. So not every business would become a Couche-Tard, for example, and but there are benefits to that kind of growth. So willingness to grow is your foundation. That's the foundation of the house. And the second one, the decision to build a home is taken next. This is a major step, and that remains to get organized to reach that goal. So many entrepreneurs, they go with their instincts. They are tactical rather than strategic for different reasons. They're often caught up in their daily routine, so they become very busy, and they don't necessarily stop and create a plan. But trying to like see if my screens are moving too.
I think it may not have moved. You may be on an older screen. Is that possible?
Yes.
There we go.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
There we go.
Oh, sorry about that. Technical issues here. So normally when you start a business, it's not very essential to have like a 50-page action plan. I have seen some clients that have a 1-page growth plan. Some have really sophisticated research and plans, but it depends on what you basically would like to do. But when you're building a home, of course, you hire an architect, and then you take the time and stop and build how you're going to create that house for you. So the example that I gave about a restaurant, it's actually called the Broken Yolk, and I'm not sure if you have been to that restaurant. They basically have now 3 locations in Calgary, 1 in Edmonton, and then they have just opened their Bros to Go, which is a takeout place, and there's 2 locations in Calgary, and they continue to grow. The owners, the brothers, basically they are under they were selected as one of the top 40 under 40. So it's nice to know that some clients that you help in the beginning are actually starting to grow and realize their plans. So based on our surveys, so BDC usually does a lot of surveys among entrepreneurs. And what we have found is that 70% of top performing companies have an action plan. But our studies also show that less than half of the entrepreneurs actually conduct a strategic planning exercise. So once you create a plan, it's good to follow them, because, you know, just like when you're driving somewhere and you have a map, and basically if you don't follow that, you don't get to your destination. And just like with building a house, you have to keep a close eye on the progress of the work, and you must check that the business is headed in the right direction and that it's advancing at a good pace. And it's extremely important to keep an eye on your cash flow. So that's basically part of your business, to have the cash for all your expenses and things like that. And one of the most frequent factors of failure among growing businesses is that the costs are rising faster than the revenues. So need to keep a good eye on cash flow management. So our research also shows that there are 3 essential elements to a growth plan. So the people, the money, and the marketing. So for the people, do you have the right people in the right place to support your growth? The money, do you have the financial capacity for your growth to finance all of your equipment, your working capital, and stuff like that? And marketing, essentially, do you have a good brand image? Do you know what your your target markets are? And those are like essential things that basically BDC would help as well if you are lacking in some skills on that. So bankers like me will always want to see numbers and questions and challenge them. But I also like to know that the people behind those numbers are even more important. So first of all, I look at who are the entrepreneurs, who is the management, who is running the business, what is their skills that they bring into the business, who are the leadership team. So and are the employees happy and motivated? And is the team do they have the necessary skills to grow the business? So business main asset would be the people. Your business is only as good as the people that run behind it. So sometimes entrepreneurs, they might be afraid to hire because of the cost and the responsibilities. And however, you must have a go at it. And it is often this workforce, this additional expertise that allows you to move to a higher level. Sometimes when you're a solopreneur and you're starting your business, you wear many hats in the business. And when, say, for example, you don't have all the skills necessary to grow that business, we do have some advisory services at BDC that can help you with it. And there are many assistance and programs to support the businesses, and I know Business Link is one of them. And you can access those resources and get the help that you need. Because of the aging population in Canada, the expected growth rate of the working age population, and when we say working age, that's probably between 15 to 64, the growth rate is negative in our country. This means that the pool of potential recruits for your business is shrinking, and this will continue for at least 20 years. In other words, the current shortage of labor is going to worsen over time. And I talk to business owners day in and day out, and this is always an issue for them, that they can't get skilled people to work in their business. And one thing about the COVID environment, international hiring is also taking longer than it used to. Basically, because our population growth doesn't grow as much in Canada, so we're saying that the immigration will be the one to support the the growth in these workers.
May I interject here?
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a question. It ties back to the people that from a comment that you made previously. So talking about the people as part of your action plan, what can you do to keep people happy and motivated?
So there are different
Yeah.
things that you can do. When you're a solopreneur and you don't have human resources, like an expert in that field, the motivation part and all the rest of that, it's something that you can develop with the help of an expert in the field. And as I mentioned, as BDC, we have a roster of consultants that we can provide for you. It is not for free, all our advisory services, but it's not also very expensive compared to other consultants that are out there. So figuring out what you can afford to pay them, what is the market rate, motivation. I have had some clients where what they would do, like in the case of Broken Yoke, for example, the strategy that he has is that he says, you know, I'm not going to franchise my business, but I would like my team to be owners in the future. So and I would say I met a lot of restaurant owners, the ones that are successful, because restaurant business is a very risky business. If you go to the chartered banks, that's like top priority for, they don't want to lend to you when you're a restaurant. But the successful restaurants that I have seen are the ones that have their employees as part of their business. They have, like, the employees have shares, maybe 1%, 2%. I have a client that's a restaurant, and I went to the restaurant and I ate there. The server that came and he mentioned his name, and I go, oh, you're a part owner of the business, because I've never met all the owners, because they have, like, you know, smaller percentages. And when I'm doing the loan, I don't necessarily have to do all the due diligence on them, and I don't get to meet them. I get to meet anyone that owns 25% of more of the business. And I basically said, well, I recognize your name. You're a part owner of the business. And he tells me that, you know, yes, I've been in the beginning an employee, and then I started buying shares in the business as part of his compensation. So those are like some things that you can do as well. Hope that answered your question. So 80% of our population growth will come from immigration, basically. Probably there's a lot of immigrants on the webinar right now. I am an immigrant. I came from the Philippines. And in this context, the ability of businesses to attract and retain talent will be a major asset. And the importance of having a plan to attract these employees will become, you know, in short, you can build your employer brand. And of course, there's a list of best 100 employers, top 1,000 employers in the country, and then stuff like that. I'm happy to say that BDC is one of them. So attracting and retaining qualified people, it would be good to have a positive company culture. You would like to have a stimulating and flexible work environment, especially now in this COVID. I find that a lot of companies are switching their models. You don't have to be in the office anymore 100% of the time. There are some hybrid arrangements where you can work partially from home, work in the office sometimes. And you need to develop an appropriate compensation and benefits program for your employees. One of the challenges for small businesses is attracting talent without being able to pay as much as big companies. But small businesses have many assets that they can use to attract talent, including basically SMEs are on a human scale. They offer jobs where employees can take on more responsibilities. So the smaller the company, you might have skills that you can use in different areas of the business. Unlike big companies, for example, they tend to be more specialized. And Smaller companies are more agile and flexible, and most employees like that as well. So do not be afraid to present your business as an employer of choice and build your employer brand that way. The money. So it's always good to plan before you actually need the money. I find that sometimes when you're in a cash crunch, that's harder to get a loan. But if you are planning ahead of time, so when you start a business, some of my clients admit they use their own personal resources. They go, no, I don't need a loan. But they start a business and there are unforeseen expenses. It's better to borrow the money right at the get-go so that you have some cushion and you're not like panicking when you run out of money. So what you want to remember is that to keep your bankers in the loop at the outset, you can access several types of financing, like your chartered bank can provide you a line of credit, a credit card, and then BDC can help you with some of your larger expenses. And sometimes when you don't qualify for the chartered banks, we work hand in hand with the chartered bankers and basically co-lend in terms of getting some financing for your business. So the next thing on you're building your business, you're growing. The next thing, the important thing is the marketing. So you have to have a good brand image. Just like before you start building your house, you think about the design, the look you want to have, and then you do the same for your business. So the business brand image has become an important element that helps to distinguish it from others in the market. So it's important to take the time to define it properly. There are people who think that all this work creates unnecessary expenditures, but actually, on the contrary, it is an investment because what gives the image of credibility that inspires confidence on the market. So marketing, your strategy, you want to have that at the get-go. We spoke about the importance of talent management, but the brand image and that you direct towards your customers, it also plays a role in attracting skilled employees, because when they Google your company, then they're impressed about your presentation, your marketing, and then they would like to become part of your business. And they would, if you have job openings, then they would apply. So it's all part of those building blocks that you have in your business. So social media is a big part of your business. Business's image goes through, among other things, social networks and opinions that customers put online. So I don't know about you, when I need to buy something, my first thing to go to is the internet. And so when you have a business, you try and think, who is your target market? Who are these people and how do you reach them? How do they make their decisions? So when you put up something on your website, it's not enough that you have a good website. You have to have some intelligence as part of it, so that when people are actually looking at it, you can have a lot of followers, but the important thing to consider is that they are actually buying from you. So sometimes when I meet clients and they tell me, oh, I have like 100,000 followers in Facebook and things like that. And it's good to have followers, but the bottom line is what I look at. Are they buying? How is your conversion rate? If you have a post and you have an offer, how many of those people that looked at it, what is the percentage that actually goes and buy? They go to your store or they go online and buy your products? Because ultimately, if you're not having revenues, then no matter how much social media presence you have, it doesn't matter at the end of the day. Um, so on this slide, 17% of entrepreneurs plan to start using social networks in the next 3 years, while 69% are already using it. And it's the new digital water cooler, basically. Every business needs to have at least a presence. Sometimes in this day and age, I'm still surprised when some businesses don't really have a website. And you can have different purposes on your website. You can have it as a portal to garner interest from potential buyers. You may not need to put all the details in there, but if it's good enough that they pick up the phone or they email you and ask for a code, for example, and be ready to buy your products. So I'm sure you know. Yes. Yeah.
Sorry, I have a question.
Yeah.
Can social media help with growing a B2B? And if so, how?
I'm don't claim to be an expert in that area. I am in financing, and as I mentioned, we have BDC advisory services, and there are many experts out there. The nice thing about the advisory services part of BDC is that, you know, you meet every day a lot of people that call themselves, you know, consultants or experts, or, you know, I'm good at this and stuff like that. But however, at the end of the day, you may not necessarily know what their expertise or if they can deliver on what they promise. And so what happens with BDC is that BDC has taken care of the part where, you know, all of our consultants in our roster, they go through criminal bankruptcy checks, and then they have to prove that they can do their work. And we kind of like guarantee the work. And basically, because sometimes I hear horror stories where they hire an expert, but then they did not really deliver. Growing your business using social media is something that you should be doing, because we are in a digital age. Digital marketing is part of your strategy. You know, the logistics, the mechanics of that, it is not something that I can advise on because I'm not an expert in that area. But I do know in the BDC network, we have a lot of experts in that. And you can basically contact me if you need some help on in those areas. Okay, so basically, when during pandemic, a lot of companies pivoted their business and went on to online selling, and some of them are really successful with that, with all the closures and restrictions that were present during the last 20 months or so. To grow, you have to sell outside the province. So we only have a limited market in Canada. Our population is not that great compared to, say, our neighbors, our neighboring country, the US. 3/4 of the 70,000 Canadian exporting businesses employ less than 20 people. So you may not be that big, but you can export. And these are small businesses, but they do business around the world. Having said that, exporting is a real challenge, and you have to deal with issues such as custom duties, currency fluctuations, and different ways of doing business. We have a sister company, EDC, which is Export Development Corporation, and we can connect you with them as well. There is also Global Affairs Canada, the trade commissioners that can help you when you're setting up in a country that you're not familiar with. So the key is to prepare well before you enter into new markets. So most companies that I find is that they perfect their market here in Canada, and then when they're growing, that's when they look at outside the country. There are programs as well. One thing that I think about is the TAP Accelerator program, Trade Accelerator program. It's called TAP, and it is being offered for companies who are wanting to export outside the country. And there's also some grants and benefits, like the export grants that's available, and you can access that through those different government agencies. So for BDC, we do offer financing for those projects, as well as EDC. Trade commissioners, provincial government programs are available as well. Okay, so the third thing about, and I probably are not seeing the whole slide in here, willingness to grow is the first one. Those are like your building blocks to grow your business. And then we talked about having a good game plan. And the third one is surrounding yourself with the right people. So we already have built the foundation of your home. To get to the next level, you must surround yourself with the right people. It's difficult to do everything yourself. It's difficult to be good in everything, like accounting, marketing, sales. And we tend to be better working as a team than by ourselves. So it's essential to surround yourself with the right people. But before doing anything, learn how to know yourself, to know what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are. Afterwards, bet on your strengths and fill your weaknesses by hiring people who are competent in the other areas. So you don't want to hire people that are the same as you. You will probably not be benefiting from that. But if you have people that would complement your team, that would be the best way. And part of this is surrounding yourself with your experts as well, like your accountant, your lawyers, your bankers, that can help you in growing your business. So it's important to get advice, and some of the business owners that I know, they would look for a mentor, and some of them have really great stories as well. You know, you read about somebody who is successful in business, and one of the things that struck me is that the successful people are very willing to help other business owners. And some of my clients, they just, you know, approach them on LinkedIn, you know, can I, you know, have half an hour of your time on coffee? And at the end of the day, sometimes they become mentors to them. So it's always good to ask. You can hire a coach as well, so, and other advisors. If you can remember, even the greatest leaders of experience, they have mentors too, and they have coaches, and they have people that inspire them, and some of them would accompany them in their entrepreneurship journey. So this is something that you should not hesitate about, surrounding yourself with the right people. And we often see entrepreneurs use an advisory committee to complement their expertise. And many entrepreneurs believe that they must be in business for several years before they surround themselves with the right people. And kind of like not agreeing to that, because sometimes it's critical that you have a sounding board and you have other experts that can advise you and help you growing your business.
Juliet, I have a question from Betty. She asks, I have been told that when you have a mentor, you should compensate them. How do you compensate a mentor? How would you compensate? Do you have any suggestions?
I think it depends on what you agree with the mentor. Many successful mentors, they do it for free. If you can make an arrangement with them, like just talk about how the other mentors can be compensated. And basically they are, you know, because of their time, right? but it also depends on where your business is at. If you are a young entrepreneur, if you are less than 40, for example, the Futurepreneur program, they would provide some small loans for you, and at the same time match you up with a mentor for free. So compensating the mentors, like I have a lot of clients, they do have an arrangement depending on what type of advice they're doing, and if it is like a program, or because there are mentors that's their livelihood, but there are some that are just doing it for helping other people because they themselves, and I've met many of these successful entrepreneurs. Like sometimes when I meet clients and I go, are you willing to talk to my other client in the same industry who's just starting and could use some advice? And I've never really heard anybody say no to me. So sometimes just look at your network, and some people, they would use LinkedIn and look at their friends on LinkedIn, and then how their friends are connected to other people and they get an introduction that way. Yeah, I haven't really seen a lot of paid mentors, to be honest. So, but it all depends on what you have an arrangement for.
And it may also be just saying thank you, right? And showing your gratification in a small gift, or right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some of them, they would say, pay it forward. So now you've been taught, you're better, you become successful, then other mentors would say, mentor another entrepreneur and help them out as well. So, which is good. I like that, actually. So with respect to advisory committees, keep in mind that it also is evolving. The company changes, and your committee would probably also change and would move forward. So you assemble a few experts with expertise in areas that you're not an expert on, and is a challenge to your business. And then you would like to provide them regular updates about the development of your business, and then turn to them for advice to overcome your challenges. As your business challenges and your situation evolve over time, you'll want to review the makeup of your advisory committee to ensure that they have the expertise to help you deal with the most pressing issues. So this is not a static thing. It can change depending on what your business would need. Based on our studies as well, businesses with an advisory committee have been shown to be more successful. Their sales per worker are 18% higher than those that do not have one. So it's like, you can't possibly do everything yourself. You need somebody to help you, and another expert in other industries where you don't have the expertise on. And that's the beauty of having an advisory services mandate. For example, with BDC, we do not duplicate what you already know, but we will find the gaps and provide the coaching that way as well. You can also join industry associations, business support organizations, and this will help you, knowing your peers. You learn about new practices that can be effective for your own business as well. So finally, we have the top of your house, the roof. So the roof, as you know, this will allow your house to last and protect you from bad weather. Your roof is your investment in productivity and innovation in case of your business. So your productivity is your ability to be effective, manufacture more products, or provide more services in less time and with fewer resources. And it's not about working harder, but basically working better. If you're more productive, you can generate more profits and can grow even more. So I find that, you know, companies that look at productivity and innovation are more poised to become successful. I'd like to give an example. I'm not sure if we have a lot of time here. Yeah, we do. So going back to advisory services, one of the things that we do is operational efficiency. So I have a client in the window cleaning business. He's worked in that business for 4 years, and then he had a transition plan with the owner, where the owner was going to, you know, on the 5th year, you will buy 50% of the shares, you'll manage the business, you'll learn it, I will mentor you. And then another year later, he became 100% owner of the business. So now he's in control, and he worked that business. So he is familiar with how the operations went and all that stuff. And so we gave him the loan to purchase the shares of that existing business. And one of the things that I talked about was, you know, advisory services, and these are the different things that we can help you with. And in the beginning, he basically said, yeah, maybe we'll try and take a look at the operational efficiency. And when he did the mandate, he was, you know, hesitant and wanted to cancel the engagement. But at the same time, you know, I don't know everything. Maybe I can learn something from here. So what the operational efficiency does is that, you know, they look at what you are already doing and see where the productivity improvements and innovation can be done. So window cleaning service is very straightforward. You have your tools, you clean the window, you have your clients and things like that. But doing the operational efficiency, for example, you make a walkabout, take a look at all your processes, and you're given a coach that is an expert in that field. And that's what they've done. They looked at how they were wasting a lot of time in certain areas. So one of the things that you would say, you know, it's a no-brainer, it's like, you know, common sense. But one of the things that is hampering is that the business owner, basically, one of the things that he wants to do is like spend more time with his family. But what he's finding is that he spends a lot of time training, watching his employees and stuff like that. But with the productivity improvement, say for example, he shortened the time of the training and then the back and forth. So they have a project, they clean a window for a condo building, for example, and they save like 80 hours on certain things that they do not very efficiently. So one of the things is like, you know, the tools that you need. So you go up the ladder, you clean the windows, and then, oh my God, like there's something wrong with here. I don't have my tool. I have to go back to the truck, and then and like multiply that a few times, then you have man hours wasted on that. And they develop this like tool belt. They put all the tools that they will possibly need. And then they also have a grab bag that contains everything that they would possibly need in cleaning the windows. So all in all, with this engagement, they basically saved about 10,000 in a couple of weeks just by changing the way they do their tasks. And their productivity improved. And then of course the innovation part comes later. And this is the kind of skills that you can have going through advisory services, so that you learn these things and you can implement them. And I believe that is okay. No, I thought I was like productivity. So productivity gap between Canadian and American businesses, our main competitors, they continue to increase. So while American businesses have increased their productivity, Canadian businesses have seen their productivity stagnate. So this is an area that we would actually help a lot. So the productivity of Canadian businesses only represent about 75% of that of American companies. So productivity, innovation is something that you would like to look at. One of the main drivers of the growing productivity gap is underinvestment in information and communication technologies. So we find that Canadian firms invest less than 50% as much as American companies on a per worker basis. And that's not very good, because investing in these technologies allows you to be more productive, and you can grow and improve your client experience as well. At BDC, we would basically provide financing up to 100% of your technology purchases. And this would include your website, your software, your hardware purchases. Some chartered banks, I think they don't consider technology assets as tangible assets. But because we are BDC, we would like companies to adopt a more digital approach in their businesses. So the other side of your roof is the innovation. Competitors are often numerous and will usually be bigger than you. So one of the ways to stand out is to innovate constantly. And according to a survey that we conducted with more than 1,000 small and medium-sized businesses, 8 growing businesses out of 10 attribute their success to their ability to innovate. So that's a good number. When you have that innovation mindset, you become more competitive and you can grow your business. So yes,
I do have one question.
Yeah.
It goes back to the gap between Canada and US. And so the question is, what are the root causes of this increased gap between Canada and US productivity and innovation?
One of the things that turned out in our study is that it's the underutilization of technology. So Canadian companies tend not to invest a lot in on those assets compared to Americans. So one of the things that we've done is, like, we would support up to 100% of these investments in this ICT, so innovation, technology, communications, and software, website, and things like that. So,
okay, thank you.
So what are the things that you do to be an innovative company? You create new products, you propose new solutions, you adopt new methods of working, and of course, automation. So you try and automate your tasks that are repetitive. And one of the things that technology and innovation is not so much replacing the human worker with robots, basically. You still need people. At the end of the day, you cannot automate everything. So, but automation will basically provide some savings in terms of your costs in producing certain products and things like that. So we like companies that are always innovating, looking at how they can continue to improve their processes and save some money in the process. So the 4 building blocks again is the willingness to grow, the people, the money, having a good action plan, and then having the people, the money, and the marketing. And then surrounding yourself with the right people, the right team. This is just to summarize what we have talked about so far. And basically the roof is basically your investment in innovation and productivity. So in conclusion, building a house, building a company is just like building a home. To make it grow, you must lay the stones one after the other before considering your business growth. Do not forget that it is necessary to know yourself well and then organize your company to be ready to overcome the challenges inherent to the growth. And finally, go forward with audacity, and courage, and you will all be rewarded. So that concludes my presentation. I think we have probably 5 minutes for questions, Joanne.
I'll see if there's any that come in. So if there's any more questions, you can just pop them into the chat out. I think there is one. I might have just missed that one. So does BDC only do loans or a combination of grants and loans?
We don't do grants. It's all loans, commercial loans. So, and the big part is financing, and then of course the advisory services that I talked throughout my presentation. So grants, we do have some information from our partners, but we don't do them themselves. Like you can contact those grant organizations and they can provide that. There's like federal grants, innovation grants, there's like employee grants where you have a sharing of 50-50 or 75-25. When you're hiring some different types of skilled workers, you pay the 75%, government pays 25%. There's many programs out there, and I'm sure Business Link probably has some links to that too.
Yes, we do. If anybody's looking for information on grants, we do have those links, and they can just reach out to a business strategist or even send us an email. And I'll give some of that contact information once we've wrapped up with our questions, but I'll just see if there's any more questions. So one question is, can you tell us a little bit more about the advisory services that you offer, and in what areas, and a bit of an idea on the cost that may be applicable?
So advisory services, we segmented our companies. We find that 2 million and under in revenues of companies have basically the same needs and requirements with respect to the skills that they want to acquire in their company. So there are 6 different areas that we provide help on. So one is strategic planning. There's operational efficiency, sales and marketing, leadership management, and financial management. And now because of COVID, we offered the online selling as well. All of these solutions are basically $7,500. That is the cost of the engagement. You don't have to pay the $7,500 right away. You make a deposit of 2,500. That is a third of the cost. That is showing your willingness to go into this engagement. And then the program is divided into 3 phases. So you finish phase 1 and phase 2, which is normally phase 1 is like an assessment, and then you start doing something. This is structured as a one-on-one coaching between you and the coach and the expert. And basically you do it at your own time. There is some clients do it, in the evening, some first thing in the morning before they open their business. And this is coaching once a week, about 3 hours. You can plan it with your coach. You're not restricted to a schedule. You can change it this week, another week, like depending on what you need to do. Like it's a very flexible program. And at the end of the day, I'll give you an example. So financial management, a lot of business owners are really good at what they're selling, at what they do and things like that. But, reading financial statements, how do you figure out your cash flow? What are the things? So you can go to school and study finance or accounting. But then when you go to school, I went to school for these things in finance, and we study, ABC company. And then at the end of the day, you go, how do I now apply it to my business? So with the advisory services, you're actually going through an assessment, the concept, what are the key performance indicators? How do you know your business is growing? How do you know you're covering all the costs? How do you know you're pricing your products properly? So you get to know that, and using your company, not ABC company. So this is real life. It becomes a part of your skills and knowledge. And then at the end of that, you're better poised to price your products correctly, and then do your pricing, your cash flow projections, things like that. So anyway, I hope that answers the question.
Thank you, Juliet. And so we're coming to the end of our webinar. I know there might be 1 or 2 questions that are left, but we'll have to kind of wrap this up for today. So I want to thank everyone for joining us today. And thank you, Juliet, again, for sharing your wealth of knowledge regarding growth strategies. So as participants, you will be receiving an email following this webinar with a link to an online survey. And we ask that if you can, please take a few minutes to complete the short survey. It's greatly appreciated. And if by chance your questions regarding our topic today were not answered, or you'd like guidance in other areas of business, please contact us at BusinessLink, either by email at askus@businesslink.ca, or you can call 1-800-272-9675. If you'd like to sign up for our newsletter, chat with us online, or stay informed of upcoming events, please visit our website at businesslink.ca. So thank you again for taking part in today's webinar. Take care, everyone, and have a great day. Bye for now.
Thanks, Joanne. Bye-bye.
Bye.